Hey guys, what's up? It's Tepo time. That's right, it's 2019 and we are doing our first ever tutorial of the year. But before we start, we gotta jump back into time when we were in Switzerland last August. Check it out. So on this trip, alongside filming a vlog, I also managed to grab some nice portraits of my wife and just the landscapes there. And when I was posting them on Instagram, a lot of you guys were DMing me, how do you get those nice green earthy tones? And so I thought this would be the perfect first ever Lightroom tutorial for you guys this year. It's kind of funny to think that this is actually my first Lightroom tutorial because alongside being a videographer, I've been doing just as much photography the whole time, but for some reason I've just leaned towards more about teaching about filmmaking, but now I want to gear more towards doing photography. So that's why we're doing our first ever Lightroom series. So if there's any other things that you want to learn about, make sure you comment below. Tell me what you want to learn about Lightroom, how you want to achieve certain looks, whatever it is that comes to your mind, write down below because then I can take that into consideration when planning my next tutorial. So when it comes to getting those nice earthy green tones, it's not actually as hard as you might think, but sometimes it can feel daunting at first. The way you can achieve getting this look is by using HSL. That stands for Hue, Saturation, Luminance. And it's the tab a little bit down below in Lightroom, and you can see that there's this 3 sections where it's Hue, Saturation, and Luminance. And before we get into editing the actual photo, I want to just briefly go over what Hue, Saturation, and Luminance means. Basically, hue is the color, and you can change the color depending on what kind of hue you want to change it to. So for example, you can click the red slider and you can switch it more to orange, or for example, if you have the orange slider, you can switch it more to more reddish or more yellowish, and so on. The saturation, you can change the intensity of the color. So for example, if you want really bright blue skies, or maybe you want a little bit more tanned orange skin, you can use the saturation sliders to create the intensity in the photo. For example, some people really like the desaturated look, so you can bring down the saturation of certain colors like blues and greens, and you can make a more desaturated look. The luminance is changing the exposure of a certain color. So for example, if you have blue sky but you want it to be more brighter or you want to be moodier, you can bring the exposure down of just the blues, for example. Or if you notice that the skin tones are a little bit too dark, you can just take the orange slider and you can bring it up to bring the color and the luminance back in. So simple but very effective sliders. At first it can feel daunting, but when you get into it, it's actually a lot easier than you think. So let's start editing the photos from my Switzerland trip, and I'll show you how to get those green earthy tones. So this is a portrait I took of my smoking hot wife in Switzerland, and as you can see, there's a lot of greens in the background, but they're kind of this highlighter green that we don't really want. We want more of that earthy green tones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the preset or the look that I created, and voila, it's a lot more cinematic, a lot more just earthy green tones. But how did I achieve this look? Well, it's simple. First, I'm gonna go to the HSL and I'm gonna double click on Hue, double click on Saturation, and double click on Luminance. That's gonna reset all the HSL settings to the original settings. So right now there's no adjustments made. Then what I'm gonna do is, this is really simple to get these earthy green tones. I'm gonna click this here, and this will automatically select the main color and the colors around that color that are gonna be affected. So for example, if you choose the skin tone, you choose orange, it's gonna move orange, but as well it's gonna move the colors around it if necessary. So for example, for this, I'm gonna take the hue, and instead of this yellow kind of neon, I'm gonna move it more to kind of an aqua turquoisey green. So maybe a 20, 30, and then from there, you don't wanna leave it like this, you know, that looks very unnatural. Then I'm gonna desaturate there, and so you can see how it chooses green and yellow. And I'm gonna do maybe, yeah, like a -35, -27. And already you can see that the before and after, this was before, and now this is forwards. And you're already gonna get this more earthy green tones. And it totally depends on every single shot you do, the lighting you have for the photos. Sometimes you're gonna have to change the hue more, or sometimes you're gonna have to desaturate more or less, depending on if it's backlit or harsh light towards, or is it a cloudy, is it a sunset. But basically, using these HSL tools, you can choose what kind of colors you want in your background. Then, for example, a nice little bonus tip is, for example, if you notice that the skin is maybe not enough saturated, I can choose saturation and just maybe move a little bit up on the orange, and right there, bingo, I've already got the perfect skin tone. So that's how I achieve my earthy green tones. Guys, I hope you love this tutorial, and I hope it will help you get those green earthy tones for your own photos. As well, I want to start editing your guys' photos and giving you critique of your own photos. So I'm gonna write below my email and send me through WeTransfer your favorite portraits, your favorite landscapes, and if you're lucky, I might just end up editing one of your own photos. So make sure you send me those photos, because that's gonna be a new series I'm gonna start, all about photo editing, all about giving you guys critique on your photos. I think it's gonna be a great time, so make sure you're part of that. As well, I have very exciting news coming out on Wednesday, so stay tuned. You guys don't wanna miss out on that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that button below, and make sure as well you smash the like button and comment below. We want to be a very interactive community. This is not just about me talking with you guys, but it's about us interacting with each other and creating a positive community. See you guys, have a great start to your week.